Gilbert. So now that you've been warmed up with the music of the wonderful artistry of Gilbert Zachary, we're ready to start our service this morning. Welcome to Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. How's everyone doing today?
Fantastic.
Love to hear fantastic. Fantastic. Centers for Spiritual Living 2026 global theme. Open at the top. Where have we heard that before? May 3rd, 2026, order of service for Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. 2653 South Taylor Road, Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Our monthly theme is Divine Doubt. Weekly topic title, Self-Doubt as a Starting Block. But before that, let's do our invocation. So if you would, just take a nice meditative state. Infinite Spirit, in whom we live, move, and have our being, we acknowledge the presence of God. God is in this building today, in this temple of Miracle Center. God is in each and every speaker. God is in me. God is in each and every person that is here. Each and every person that's on their way that have not reached yet. Each and every person that's out there on the electronic network through Zoom. In all the towns and cities that we broadcast to. And we know that we are one with this God. One with God. As we speak through God. God speaks through us. We know each and every activity is blessed in this day. Our choir is blessed as they bring us a song. Our Zoom technician, Christopher Harris, is blessed. Gilbert Zachary is blessed. And most of all, our speaker, Reverend June Clark, is blessed as she brings us our message from God. And we are blessed as we take it in. And if you're in agreement with me, you can say with me, and so it is. And so let it be. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
What doubts do I hide, and what do I fear revealing them would do? Rather than hide our doubt away, might we benefit from using them as the anchor? And our affirmation for today is, I will explore the relationship we have to our own self-doubts and what the ramifications might be of letting doubt be a part of our normal experiences. Now, from a science mind point of view, our mind must be steady in its conviction that our life is some part of God. Let me say that again. Our mind must be steady in its conviction that our life is some part of God, and that the Spirit is incarnated in us. Affirmations and denials are for the purpose of vitalizing faith, for the purpose of converting thought into a belief in things spiritual. And that's from Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind, page 178. As we begin this month's exploration of doubt, we start with self-doubt. It is often the most personal and universal form of doubt, something nearly all of us have experienced. Self-doubt becomes the foundation of other forms of doubt within our communities, our spirituality, and even our relationship with the divine. When we believe we are not enough or fall into similar patterns of thinking, we tend to retreat and hide, creating disconnection from both the community and the spirit. The issue is not self-doubt itself, but our rejection of it, which allows it to grow unchecked. When we accept self-doubt as a natural part of being human, we resist the pull towards isolation and illusion, and instead open ourselves to the ongoing experience of God. And now we'll have a reading by our very own Laverne Terry.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, what beautiful smiles I see today. Sunshine. Sunshine. That's what it's all about. The reading, Disciplines of the Spirit. Howard Thurman, Friends, United Press, 1963. Finally comes the question, how do I propose to get what I want? Here is involved the whole notion of means, of procedures, all the perils of the preoccupation with self and its fulfillment enter belligerently into the arena to do battle. The more clearly I see my direction, the more discriminating I am able to be about the means of following it. If I feel that time is running out, or that what I need for my journey is threatened by others because of their blindness to my journey is threatened by others, selfishness or greed, then I may find it quite in order to the ruthless in seizing from their stubborn hands what I must have. If they will not give in, then I will take it even if it means destroying them in the process. If this is my outlook, the only morality that binds me is the need to secure that without which my own life is diminished, if not destroyed. If my commitment, which grows out of my answer to the question, what do I want, is for me the most important thing in the world, as indeed it may be, I may say to myself, woe to any person who stands in my way. If the commitment in itself becomes more important than what I am committed to, or, in other words, if the means becomes more important than the end, then I am prepared to be quite blind to other consequences. It is possible for a person to make an idol of commitment. We see this not merely in regard to political or social goals or systems such as fascism, communism, or democracy. Such blindness is conceivable even on what we think is the way to the kingdom of God. A person may be so fierce and unswerving in their commitment to what is clearly to them the kingdom of God in the world that they do all kinds of violence to their fellows in their pursuit of it. All the tenderness and compassion of their spirit harden, and with grim vigor in their righteous dedication, they may easily become a religious bigot. And so it is with the discipline of spirit. How do I propose to get what I want? Thank you.
Thank you. And now today, well, I guess it's time for Reverend June.
Yes, we'll sing when
Okay, Reverend June, thank you.
goodness. It's okay, it's my keys. Thank you. Good morning. How are we all? How are we all? Good, because I feel a little, so you gotta bring me up a little bit here. Good morning. Thank you, Jared. I will wait. We're doing things a little differently this morning. I've got a couple things. One thing I did forget at home, to check a message. Some of you know Charles C. From our church here. Some of you don't. He left me a message on my computer regarding one of our long-term members, and I left it on my computer. So watch your computer, because I will be sending out the information, and it relates to one of our members who passed away or made her transition. And her name is Ernestine Esther. Ernestine Esther. And so I will get that out to you. Susie has a list of people that she sends the bulletin to. Jerry has another list he sends notices to. So you will have the notice of the time, etc. This afternoon, or for sure Monday, of her passing. And let's see, something else would be different. Our choir will be singing, where I have designated Chris. I'll let him know. So just get ready for a beautiful song this morning. And I have a note. Someone's been telling me a long time, you've got to read the notes and the cards that come from folks afar away. And this time it happens to be, you see the picture, children playing in the sun at the river or at the lake. So let's take a guess. Who might know where someone is who loves us very deeply, near the ocean, kind of, sorta, lives on the desert? We used to see them every week because they were my partner here. Louder. I'm going to tell her how long it took for you to understand that this is where Leora is right now. So if she's on Zoom today, I'm not sure whether she's speaking at the Unity Church there in in Riverside area of California. So I'm going to do as it was suggested to me to do once in a while, and this is a note from Reverend Leora Nash. Hi, folks. Card size fit envelopes. Yikes. Have a support. I got to set her up for her writing again. Have a superb, blessed week. See you over Zoom, a bit late in the sending, but now it is sent. See you all end of June. For those that know her, she will be here in June, and we will be having a special welcome home for she and Hester Telefario. So you got a whole lot of things to wait for. So we will enjoy seeing them coming from California. And the best part is she sends love and blessings, Reverend Leora. So we're going to have that hung up around the corner there where Jackie puts our special information. And so we will start reading cards from our folks who do love us. And we have a note on the back of our bulletin. If you don't notice it, it's a little red heart. And it says, pray, pray for our members. So, here we go. Our message today, it wasn't exactly as easy peasy as some messages are to bring the truth to me and to you as your reader. So we're going to go through this maybe a little slower. And I also want to share with you things that are discussed amongst each other, but sometimes they don't get back to me. And one of the things that was suggested was, if you hear a word, if you hear a sentence, and I'll know what that means. Like when I was in elementary school, I didn't know a whole lot of things. And the teacher said, if you're not sure, ask a question. And as I got older, much, much older, I realized, you know what? Sometimes I'm talking about something that I'm not really familiar with. Not that I don't know it, but it's not that you don't know something. It's how does it feel to have an idea different than what I say? And that's what this talk is about for this week. Message. What is your thought pattern? A thought pattern. Do I know everything about everything? Almost, a little bit here and a little bit there that I'm not real sure of. But when it comes to our philosophy, our patterns, our admitting to ourselves, nothing is wrong. Everything is God, so it can't be wrong. But there are times when the interpretation of the reading, the interpretation of the speaking is never wrong, but a question never asked stays just what it is, a question never asked. And if it is never asked, and there is an adjustment in my thinking, what I do, I go and I get the book, Science of Mind book. I look in the glossary. These lessons for this month are written by Howard Thurman, and he is what would you say? Well, he's got a lot of letters behind his name, but he is an author, and very similar in his thinking, his appreciation for science of mind, what blends with science of mind. And I feel comfortable when I use something that is not exactly Ernest Holmes. It might be, Baker Eddy, who's a lady. It might be, let me see, what else can I think of? Reverend Leora works with a unity church. Not works, but she associates with a unity church. And we have, you'll find out a little later, someone who is very familiar with unity. And what I might say from Ernest Holmes, and you might hear from a unity church, if you go to a unity church, you'll say to yourself, that doesn't sound quite right. But you know what? If you go to a Methodist church, you go to a temple, a couple of faiths go to temples, and you say to yourself, that doesn't sound familiar. Does that make it right or wrong?
No. Nope.
Anybody?
Nope.
Good, thank you, Jerry. It does not make it right or wrong. It makes it correct to the writer that is writing it, in your ears that are listening to it, and knowing that it's all God. So this month, for me, last week was glorious. I not only understood it, it was joyful for me to prepare for. And I got actually comments that people liked the message. Then I got to study for this week. I heard a little, yes, a little bit different. And it might take you a little while. Take this home. Take the reading home. And use your intellect. Use your choice. Use your expanded imagination, which is easy sometimes, not so easy for other times. I enjoy expanding my mind. People have told me they enjoy expanding their mind with these beautiful bulletins that Susie puts together. And they take them home, several that are left here at church. And I met one of Susie's lady friends. And Susie told me, that's the lady that comes and gets the bulletins. She doesn't come here to church. But there's also a lady that comes here to church that picks up the bulletins. Now she comes occasionally to church. And she's moved, and she even comes to church because of what she reads at home, because of what she hears here. So I guess I'm passing along messages that I hear through the person to person, messages that I hear just in conversation. So we've been doing this way since I came here 17 years ago. And I don't type very well, but I'm going to acknowledge you, Susie. I have Susie Lamar. Some of you know, some of you don't know. But think about a person like Susie that has a skill, that has a love of this church, and she passes it along. And other people do the same thing. And our Laverne is our office manager. She is steeped in classwork. All of y'all, all of us, we can talk about my point of view because I have the mic right now. If you want to ask something, if you want to share something, hand goes up, my mouth closes, and I say, you got the mic. We can be like President Obama. Drop the mic, because you have something important to say. So I think that's all of my going off script for now, so let's start with the reading. And it is the whole shebang today is about negative to positive, positive to negative. And that's a thought pattern. And it's wonderful, wonderful if you can change your negative to a positive, or you change a positive to a negative. Because for me, and I think for you also, it can be just like that. You can hear a word that is spoken to you, and you say, I thought that was opposite. I thought it's positive to negative, not negative to positive. But you know what? It's both same. It's all the same. It involves your willingness to not look at someone else or listen to someone else because it's opposite of yourself. And after reading and thinking and looking up some other words, I came to my conclusion is that you can switch either way you choose to be just by focusing on how you want it to be. There are so many things that can become extremely interesting from either side of the interest that you are working with. I'll start with the first paragraph. What it be inviting me to learn. What it sounds wrong. What it might be inviting me to learn. Is that positive for you or negative for you? Either way, I'm trying to figure in my mind something to tell you, but I don't want to tell you anything that I feel that way about. I want you to look at your life, your choice. You're at choice. I'm at choice to speak about myself. You're at choice to speak for yourself. Any situation that appears positive, we'll make it simple. You go to the store and you buy something and you use a $20 bill. What we do here at church, not me, but the folks that handle the money after church collection, one day when we came into the office, we had a note from the bank. In fact, it was a letter from the bank. And we had to check our $20 bills and have ever since then. They have a pen that they mark. And the bank was sending us the letter because that mark said this is not a real $20 bill. How many people got it before the person that didn't know what it was gave it in their tithe? Now that's bad. Bad. Yeah, it is bad. It's bad for us, but yet it's positive for us because we went to the store and bought the pens that put a color or something on the dollar bill. So it was bad for whoever did that because God don't like ugly. And we don't know who did it, but somebody who did it got their comeuppance, just like we do. We do something wrong. We know. So whoever the person was, that 1,000 people handled that bill and didn't know what it was recognized. And it was taken off the market, so to speak. It was given back to the bank. So everything's fine. So you can look at your life. You can look at what you do. And the first paragraph with the black dark print says, explore and reject. Explore and reject.
Reflect.
Pardon me?
Reflect.
Say it again.
Reflect.
See, that was on purpose. No, it wasn't. I read it wrong. I'm sorry. Explore and reflect. Because when you explore, you find something out that may be positive. You find something out that may not be positive. So with that saying, as we begin the exploration of divine doubt, what doubts of uncertainties are you hiding? And some of these words are a little bit difficult to admit to yourself. And that's all I'll say about that. Because again, it's both sides of the word. It's either positive to you, or you need to reflect on it because someone you might be talking to has a different opinion. And it's not that we chastise anyone for their opinion. It's just that we need to reflect on what you think, how you think about it, and not be so rigid in your own thinking that you can't accept what you hear and do a little bit of reflecting on it. Can you recall a time when you were strongly experienced self-doubt? Right away, it brings up something for me, and I have to let it go again. I don't need to dwell into it because I already did my exploring and I already did my reflecting. And even though it's past, I'm more in the side of being glad that I did my exploring and glad that I did my reflecting. And I don't think that there is anything that you can think about that has both sides of the coin. And the strange thing is still, to me, God is all there is. It cannot be negative. It will never say no. It will act according to what you feel, what you think, what you explore, and what you reflect on. Sometimes you go, yay, I was right. We like to be right. But if it's right, but it's wrong, somehow you can reflect and understand yourself. You don't have to read Ernest Holmes. You don't have to read the Bible. You don't have to read Howard Thurman. You know when you're wrong. And there's nothing wrong with being wrong. So take this paper home and you reflect and you think about. And I like to admit, every once in a while, science of mind is a mind bender. And there are so many writers, as Ernest Holmes did in his growth, his experiences. He was turned toward the light and not the darkness. Because sometimes the darkness is so self-inflicted, and it is so, it's universal, just as universal as the good, as the positive. But somewhere on the other side of the coin, there's something else, unless it's a trick coin. Somebody's throwing a coin up in the air, and there's 2 or 3 people standing around, and one special person has a coin, has 2 heads. And they'll say, well, you know, if this comes up ahead, why don't I give you $20? Your coin has a head and maybe a building on the other side. The other person has a coin with 2 heads. Who has the advantage? I don't know. Maybe whoever's doing the flipping, both of them knew that there was a head on each side. So they reach into their pocket so they can be trusted, and they say, I'll just do another quarter. I'll just do another coin. So they go ahead and they flip. Sure enough, the one that put the hand in the pocket found another coin that's back there. Gently slips it into the hand, all ready to flip, and they flip, and they win. Good or bad? there are differences in our way of thinking unless you come here to church or you go to another religious science church and you get the logic of God never says no. Gave you the head, gave you the head, but one of the heads was no good. It may sound uninteresting, but when your life is based on science of mind, based on the clarification, some of it is not as clear until you discover that there was a game put on you. So the next section is, what is mine to do this week? Space for personal uncertainty. Some opinions are reflected here. Instead of or along with keeping a gratitude list, write down one thing each day you are unsure or doubt of. Do you like to think you're right all the time? I'm not going to answer that. You can satisfy your own interest. Practice learning, leaning into what you don't know. There are so many, many things that I do not know at age. You wouldn't know if I told you, or probably you'd all get it perfectly right. But are there some things that you approach with glee and happiness and surety about who you are? How is your health? How is your health really? Or does it take literally listening to the doctor and there's no doubt? He sure is right. I should have done this long ago. The next one. Share your doubts with someone you trust, big or small. This activity can help to reduce shame and the need to be right, and instead open space for the truth of your experience. That doesn't mean that you have to share everything in your life. If it is important enough to share something in your worthiness, something in your belief in spirit, as spirit is used in science of mind, if you decide to do something, tell someone, you made the decision, and it'll be either correct or it won't be. Not just according to you, but anyone who feels they need to judge what you say. I learned that lesson long, long time ago. But when you find out what your own reaction is, that's when it's important. So then you learn to be kind to yourself. You learn to believe what you believe is important. If it comes out the way you believe, it's easy. If it turns out to be another belief, it's difficult. Now, that's just my judgment. That's the way I feel about it. And then you got to let it all go, because either you're stuck in one pattern or you're stuck in another pattern, and you'll never grow using that as a repertoire of times to say anything. You just become mute because someone is going to, and they should, and it's okay, to judge what you say according to them, because they have the right to do it. So again, God never says no. So always says yes means that whatever you do, whatever you think about yourself is your truth, So therefore, it is correct, and it is honest, and it is given in love because you think and have learned as a religious science person. So we need not worry. Oh my goodness, I said that. I don't know if it will help or if they'll understand. You know what? You'll cause so much interest in what you're talking about that they will go and do what? Explore and reflect. And that makes my world so much more interesting because I don't have to sit around and wonder what somebody thinks about me. Because the me in me and the teachings that I have become a learner of, a teacher of, does no longer relate. It does, take that back. It is okay because whoever I am speaking to may never have even chosen to understand what I say because they think something far different than what I say, or they don't think at all about what I say. So lose the doing it for somebody else. I did my studying, I did my practice, became first just an interested person in what I do now. I was very interested in what I did when I was a teacher. I learned to explore and hopefully have it right because these are little people. And you are so careful of little people, what you're teaching them, what you want them to be, what you want them to be, and certainly what you want to teach them. So we just have to own who we are. If it's something that is so far off the beam that somebody will explore what you said and then reflect on it and then decide, that's not mine to do, that's for them to do. See, just look at all these things in different ways because they're all God expressing itself when it comes to people. Especially, don't try and discuss somebody else's faith because it doesn't fit with science of mind. It's not meant to fit with science of mind. It's meant to fit and be understanding and be educated to you what it is in your experience that is your truth. It's your truth. And as far as science of mind goes, there are so many. I have learned from so many ministers, practitioners, folks who have beautiful hearts and don't even have a religion, but they have this beautiful essence, and you listen to them, and then you think about it, you explore, and you reflect. And if you turn on the TV and there's so many ministers, people who don't have degrees, but they have programs that reach out to many, many people, and then you say, and then you begin to explore and reflect. And then it almost sounds, well, quite often it sounds like science of mind. How can that be? Because God is all there is. God is all there is. And we are among a group of people who read Science of Mind, who read Emma Curtis Hopkins, who read the gentleman who wrote the book, one of the books that I'm thinking from for this lesson. And it turned out to be the kind of lesson where I learned a lot I didn't know. And I hope something like this is not as easy as it was last week, because last week was all about something that I felt that I really knew about that. It was about love, and it was how we treat people, how we treat ourselves, and how we think better for ourselves. So I didn't even look at next week. I didn't look back at last week, because if I do that, I will be repeating what I said last week. And then if I read it and start too soon on getting ready for next week, I will have read it, it will be in my mind, and I will be bringing 2 lessons, 3 lessons all together, and it won't be what I wanted to say. You ever do that with your, oh, I'm going to buy that color dress, or those shoes sure look nice on that person. I think I'd look good in that. My sister and I used to tell my mother when we went shopping, especially for shoes, we had the narrowest feet in Buffalo. Because every time we went to school, we saw all the cutest shoes on the girls at school. And we'd come home and we'd say, Mama, we want to get shoes like Susie Bell or Susie from across the street. We want to get shoes like theirs. She didn't say no either. She just took us to the store and let the clerk put the shoes on us and know they were too tight or too big. Because whatever kind of feet we had, no one else in the world had it. But we were sure that we were going to walk in the store and just pick up shoes. And that's what we do in life. We're so sure we're right that we either got to get pinched or we got to slop around. She wouldn't buy them, of course, if she had bought them, in shoes that were way too big. So what do we do in our everyday thinking? What do we do? I can't on Sundays, when I'm well and all happy and everything, I can't not stay home from church. And that was when I was younger, because I got marched to church. Now, I still can't not come to church unless it's a drastic thing. So when I'm feeling, a lot of people asked me already this morning, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Pretty good. Okay. If I was dragging myself right now through that door and I'm late, if I didn't have a real good yes from God, I wouldn't be here. And I think we do that with ourselves in our lives. We check ourselves, and we think something is perfect. We do it, and it turns out it wasn't so perfect. It wasn't such a perfect thought. And then we beat ourselves up for about 2 minutes, and then we go on and we move on to something else. And that's good, and that's healthy. If you have none of the above, it's perfect. Because that means you have explored, you have reflected, and you understand, I'm going to church. Not that if you don't get here, it's the worst thing in the world. But it is. Get here. Every single one of those seats are blessed by you, by your choice to do this today, because God said yes. I am here today because that means I'm not real sick, just a little sick. And that's fine, because if you don't know what's wrong or you don't feel the pain, that's bad. See? I hope I'm not going down the wrong road here, but it says here, what is mine to do this week? Make space for personal uncertainty, some opinions included. Instead or along with keeping a gratitude list, write down one thing every day you were unsure or doubtful of. Practice learning and leaning into what you don't know. Don't hurry to answer questions or find information you are looking for. Let yourself sit in the unknown. It's not me. It's not me about everything. But there are certain things. I will sit for something and sit and sit. Lower the shoulders. God knows, God shows. Move on to something else. Saves a whole lot of energy. Saves a whole lot of asking other people questions because they probably are stewing over the same question you are. Maybe not. But let's up-level ourselves to recognize that we're not always right. And don't get a stubborn head like sometime I get. My mother told me I was too stubborn. But think about what you do. Think about what you choose to do. What is your thought pattern? Negative to positive, or positive to negative? Negative to positive, positive. Switch back and forth. Switch. Get some books that you probably have had for a long time. Talk to somebody that comes to church. We used to have, and we will have again, classes. And it is so wonderful to be a part of a class, especially a class if you're teaching about science of mind. All you have to do is sit and listen. I know that because as a teacher of science of mind, like so many other things in my life, I learn from a group of people, and when the class is loving to each other and they feel free to be loving and be truthful and say what they feel they mean and mean what they say, it is such a blessing. Such a blessing. And if you want to have a special blessing, two or more, where two or more are gathered, you will find that you will abide within one more person, whether they think opposite of you or think the same way you do. Either way, there's a blessing in there. So share your doubts with someone you trust, big or small. This activity can help to reduce shame and the need to be right, and instead open space for the truth of your experience. And the joy about classes is that there is a commitment made with the people in the class that you will not share without someone's permission what anyone said in the class. And what you feel is important, you are blessed to have someone feel that you are important enough to say whatever they want to say to you. So, that's some reminders there. Let's see. The only proof of life we have is that we live, and the only proof we have of mind is that we can think. So we are perfectly justified in believing that we have a mind and that we live. Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful. Some people may have a situation that changes your whole life's being, and we can always be thankful. Whatever is in our experience is still able to be recognized. And we learn, and we give, and we learn, and we give, and we learn. We do not create our nature. That's up to us and God. God is our nature. God is one. God is all there is. So we create our own world, always knowing that something special is going to happen. I'm going to let you continue to, I almost read this verbatim, but there's a very special thing that is happening in this church. We're singing. We are singing. We need more singers. Come and join us, because a lot of you have been in this religious science and have been at this particular church for quite some time. I have to learn the songs from start to finish. Some of you know the songs. I know some of you out there know these songs. So, rehearsal after church. Now you are going to hear the fruit of our ways. Don't cough, Linda. We're going to sing. So let's have our choir come up.
Come, let us worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Come, let us worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Give him the honor, give him the praise. Come, let us worship the Lord. Let's give him the praise. Come, let us worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Come, let us worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Give him the honor, give him the praise. Come, let us worship the Lord. Let's give him the praise. Worship him. Worship him. Give my God the glory. Give my God the praise. Worship him. Worship him. Come, let us worship the Lord. Let's give him the praise. Worship. Worship him. Worship him. Give my God the glory. Give my God the praise. Worship him. Worship him. Come, let us worship the Lord. Let's give him the praise.
Right on the dot. Wonderful. Laverne, since you... Oh, you're on. I'm sorry. I was going to have you come up and do something else. Would you come to do the benedictions?
Do we have any visitors? Would you give us your name and where you're from?
Margene Mitchell, and I'm from Grafton, Ohio.
Oh, welcome, welcome. You can come up from Grafton, Ohio anytime you'd like and join us.
I will.
Good. So now we come to the end of our message. And if you would, let's take a meditative stance. As we do the benediction, Mother, Father, God, we just give thanks for this time that we've had together. We give thanks for each and every person that's here. We give thanks for our minister, Reverend June. We give thanks for myself, Jerry Lawson, practitioner. We give thanks for our pianist. We give thanks for our Zoom technician, Christopher. And all of the people that are out on Zoom and all of the people that are right here in this auditorium. Father, we know that we are blessed. We are blessed, and as we go through the next week, we are blessed in all that we do, and as we come back in the following Sunday. Father, we just give thanks. And if you're in agreement with me, you can say with me, and so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Now we have a few announcements to make. Remember our members and friends in prayer. Our chair exercise class is still going on Wednesdays from 11 to 12. Our instructor is Daphne Hill. Wear comfortable clothing and shoes, and a donation is only $5 for each class. And I can tell you from the last class, I'm still aching.
Yes.
She worked us out the last Wednesday. The Richard Living Bookstore is open after church on Sundays from 1 o'clock till 3:30 p.m. We still have a few cookbooks left over from our cookbook sale a few weeks ago. And on Monday, we're gonna have our card workshop again. And it's from, what time is that, Jackie?
11 to 4.
11 a.m. till 4 p.m. And you're going to learn how to make cards, Christmas cards, birthday cards, any kind of cards you want to make. You come and learn. But you have to talk with Miss Jackie because she has a limited amount of seats left in that class. And I believe that's all we have as far as our announcements. So if you would just circle up in the middle down.
I want to announce about Esther again.
Oh, Ernestine Esther, her ceremony is on Friday the 15th, and I don't have the time memorized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's it's at Calhoun on Rockside on May the 15th. Friday the 15th of May at 1:30. So we all know where Calhoun is on Rockside.
Okay, we can circle up. Thank you for helping out with that time, Jerry.
Sure.
So, we're going to sing our peace song.